Welcome to Tech Talks. I have the pleasure of Abdul of Voyance. He's one of the co-founders. Voyance's mission is to make machine learning and artificial intelligence accessible to African companies.
Yeah.
Abdul,
Hi, nice
welcome to Tech Talks.
Thanks for having me.
So, Voyance, what's the story of Voyance?
Yes.
Machine learning, artificial intelligence, break it down for us, to us mere mortals.
Exactly. So Voyance started by my co-founder, Ibot. So he was a consultant for a lot of big companies in Nigeria and outside of Nigeria as well as a data engineer. So the problem was that he had to build these models. So in artificial intelligence and machine learning, there's something called models where you build them with your data. So you have to build all these models every time for each of the companies. So he then thought okay, why not just build this platform where you can make it accessible to companies that want to build machine learning models to predict whatever they want, and that's how we started. So basically, he has been building this for 2 years, but we started rolling this out 2 months ago when I left my job. Yeah.
That's a big gamble, entrepreneurs. Now, for you to leave your job, you must have this gut feeling that this is going to, this is going to be successful. You
Exactly.
just don't, you're not a psychopath yet.
Exactly.
And so, so what tells you? What are the indicators that tell you that this is there's a big enough market for Voyance to be successful?
Yeah. So in my last company, the company that I previously worked at, one of the major issues was that it was one of the biggest payment company in Nigeria. One of the issues, they have a lot of data, but they couldn't use those data to predict fraud, for example. And when I saw this, I was like, okay, I don't have the technical ability to build machine learning. It's a very tough thing. So when Ebot reached out to me hey, bro, this is what I'm working on, I was like, this is exactly the problem that we were having at this company. So let me just quit my job and join him, and that's when I saw it. And also the second part was that there's a rise of data analysts. So there's data analysts and data scientists. So data analysts basically just use tools to okay, this is how you should use your data. They don't know how to use machine learning, but there's a rise of those people in Nigerian ecosystem now. Every company has data analysts, but they don't have data scientists. So what we thought was okay, there's people here, but there's no platform for them to use to use the data of the company to predict things. So those are the key indicators for me.
So what I hear you say that is you don't need to allocate resources as a company to develop your own or get these data scientists that are in very high demand, very expensive, and you won't be utilizing them every single day. You just need them to actually help you get your data. And the fact that they're also aggregating a lot of data means that they have access to more anonymous data that they can use to make better decisions. Okay, in theory, that's fantastic and great. But how easy is it for companies to actually grasp and understand this? So there are two, and I wanted to, I'd like you to speak to two segments. There's the established already companies. Then there, of course, there are the new upcoming small businesses that get it and really want to scale as they go. So they don't want to access or acquire these services.
Exactly.
So what's the approach and what's the reception and what's the impact that we're making?
So the first one, let's take a big organization like a bank, for example. Today, if a bank has a downtime, they have to scramble together and see what the problem is. They don't exactly have the talent in-house to use all the data to know, okay, maybe by tomorrow, we might have a downtime. So they don't have those specialties to build those things. And those are the first one, big banks, and they don't have the knowledge and capacity to do that. And the second one is companies that are just growing. So the thing is that for us as a company today, we need to work with companies that has data. If you don't have data, it's useless, right? So the second iteration of our product actually works for those companies where we can set up a system into their platform where it start collecting data. Because the problem today is that most companies don't know how to collect data, how to collect the right data for them to use in the future. So for example, a pharmacy today, they don't have the system today to say, okay, maybe by tomorrow or next week, you might have a disease based on all the medicine, all sort of things that you've bought from them. They don't have this platform today. So the second iteration of Voyance is a platform where we can actually deploy to companies that don't know how to collect data today and also use those data to help them make decisions.
As a startup business that has that value, isn't it easier for you to just say, okay, well, those new businesses that actually will never be able to afford the IBM, but realize the importance of data, and isn't it better for you as Voyance to actually make it, try to spend more resources?
You're right, but if you look at it today, most of those companies like IBM, Microsoft, they are not built by an African, by a Nigerian, for example. They're outside of Nigeria, they just have offices here. The value that we tell all these organizations, like, see, we have the team here, the resources here. We can actually have someone in your office directly, like, help your engineers actually understand what machine learning is. Like, if you go to IBM or Microsoft, they just say, okay, this is the software, pay us this millions of dollars per year, and that's it. But with us, we can actually, like, come to your office, try to talk to all your employees and people, because the idea is that we want to make sure that every single person in the company understands the value of data and machine learning. Like, you can't get those kind of face-to-face, kind of like directly, like with all these companies outside of Nigeria, and that's the value. And the second one is that we actually have the knowledge of understanding how African companies store data today. It's different from Facebook and all these companies outside. Like, people in Nigeria today, like companies, they use different set of database, all these different things, like all the IBM, Microsoft, they don't understand how we store data here in Africa. And those kind of like local knowledge is what important for a company like ours.
So you just started recently,
yeah,
and you've taken the plunge, left your job,
yeah, exactly.
And you're now fully at Voyance.
Yeah.
What are the success stories?
Yeah.
How many customers, or how many customers, or how many data points? Or,
yeah.
So what are your indicators of success that keeps that tells you that we're going to invest more capital in this?
So like when we started, it was like, okay, we need to kind of like make people understand what machine learning is and how important storing data in the right way is. So we're currently like in conversation with one of the Pan-African companies in Ghana, a bank, right? So the first step is for us to kind of like make them understand that, see, all this data, all this transactional data, logs, events that's happening in your system, you're not making use of that. So that's the first step. We're trying to like make them understand, kind of like a consulting step, like make you understand, okay, this is the value. And then the second step is, okay, this is the platform. And the third step is like, this is the output you're going to see. So the first step is what we're doing right now, like just can make people understand the value. And then the second step, once they understand the value, they go, okay, what next? How can I use your platform? And then we can say, okay, we have a platform called Omni that can help you use all this data to kind of like realize the value. And yeah, that's what we've been doing. And it's been successful so far. We've seen companies kind of like start looking at how they can properly store their data. Because when you talk to all these companies, say, okay, we don't have this data. So now we're trying to make them understand, okay, this is how you store your data in the right place at the right time to make better decisions in the future.
So a final question, and this is to do with like future success. Yeah. You're a platform business.
Yeah.
So the success of a platform must be scale.
Exactly.
How are you going to scale? How are you going to make Voyance self-service?
Become a billion-dollar company.
Exactly. So I don't have Abdul, we call Abdul, but the system drives the system, and I can plug in myself and determine how I want to connect and with Voyance.
So when Slack, you know Slack, right? So when Slack started, I was fortunate to be one of the first people to build chatbot on Slack, where you can do a lot of things. And the reason why Slack grew at that speed was because of community. They had developers building stuff on their platform, and that make it like very good, and referrals and stuff like that. And that's where we see Voyance as well, because it's a platform, right? We want to gather a lot of developers to build plugins, because on Voyance today, you can actually build a plugin to bring data from different sources, maybe MySQL, a lot of DBs, right? So we don't want to be the one to build database, right? So yeah, so we don't want to be the one. I just
learned that very recently.
Yeah, so we don't want to be the one to build all these thousands of plugins to connect to all these DBs. So we want to have developers to build all these plugins, and they can actually make money from that. So when we have that community, we kind of like grew that, and people from other companies can say, okay, I use Voyance, I develop plugins for them, and so on and so forth. That's how we grew the community and the platform as well. And the second one is like being able to like open up in other African countries, right? We'll be starting from Nigeria, but next year we'll be opening in Ghana. And also like the idea is that we say it's African companies, but the problem is actually in emerging countries, right? So in UAE, I spent like 6 months in UAE. A lot of e-commerce companies there, they have data. A lot of people buy things online there, but they don't use those data to kind of like make decisions like, okay, if A buy this, probably you would like C as well. So that's what we're trying to go. We're trying to like go into new markets, and then we can grow the company to something, maybe $1 billion company.
Good luck to that.
Yeah.
Abdul, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And we'll continue the conversation offline.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.